Hi everybody. Today, let us see into the fifth module of our ECCE paper, which talks about the theoretical underpinnings and implications towards learning and development, with special emphasis on Piaget's cognitive approach. Cognitive development refers to the mental capacity of a child towards problem solving, acquiring language, exploring the environment around them, interpreting the cause and the effect relationships by possessing an inquisitive mix of fantasy and common sense. In simple words, cognition explains the thought process of a child in making sense of this complicated universe. Moreover, it is this cognition that serves as a base for any child to develop any skill. You know very well, brain is considered to be the prime organ towards the cognition of a child. And it is said to have a rapid growth and development during the first 6 years of life. But can you quantify it? Is it possible to count on the number of neurons or synapses that a child establishes every day? Certainly no. Then how do you measure a child's progression in its mental capacity? The only possible way to do so is to rely on certain intelligence theories and to countercheck the said milestones with that of a child's activity. One such theory that gives you a clear understanding of how do a child's thought process develop and what are the skills that need to be accomplished at every stage of the life is Piaget's cognitive theory. The understanding of Piaget's assumption and stages would help the facilitator to choose the right type of activities and provide a stimulative, enhancing environment for a steady progress in their life. This module comes to you in the form of 3 videos, with this video specifying the process of cognition and the second video that is going to elaborate you on the first stage of cognitive development, that is the sensory motor stage. And the third video is going to elaborate on the second stage of Piaget's cognitive development, what we call it as pre-operational stage, and it also would give you some of the suggestive strategies and how can you stimulate and enhance the environment of a child's learning. At the end of this video, you will be able to understand the concept of cognition, explain the children's complexity of thinking during their early years as proposed by Jean Piaget. Before getting into the theory, it becomes imperative to comprehend the meaning of cognition. Cognition refers to the inner processes and products of the mind that lead to knowing. It includes all mental activity such as attending, remembering, symbolizing, categorizing, planning, reasoning, problem solving, creating and fantasizing. Jean Piaget, a biologist by profession, became a cognitive theorist by observing his own 3 children. He presumed that every child born in this world learns about the things around them, people in the environment, by investigating, discovering, and even building the stimulus through his or her activities. Through his observation, Piaget also found that the child's thinking steadily changes from one stage to the other stage in the lifespan. 4 processes are involved in the process of cognition as proposed by Jean Piaget. They are schemas, assimilation and accommodation, equilibrium and disequilibrium, and the 4th is organization. Let us understand the process of thinking and active construction of stimulus by a young child in learning the concept of a dog and cat. A child looks at a picture book with the mother beside him and the mother identifies a picture as doggy. The child's mind constructs a schema on dog, as dog has 2 ears, 4 legs and a tail. Schemas are referred to as the basic building blocks of thinking. They are specific psychological structures helping us to organize the ways of making sense of experience. The schemas change with age. Initially, the schemas are sensory motor actions and later followed by mental representations. Few days later, the child sees a real dog in the park. The mind starts checking with the schemas already formed. 2 ears, 4 legs and a tail. Finds everything okay and addresses it as dog with a state of equilibrium. Cognitive equilibrium is a comfortable state of the child in learning things. Few minutes later, the child gets near the dog and feels its furry nature and hears it barking. The child gets confused and the mind gets into a state of disequilibrium. Disequilibrium refers to a cognitive conflict or discomfort in the mind of a child. To resolve this disequilibrium, the child starts to assimilate information from the environment and the parent to add additional schemas to dog. The dog is furry, the dog barks, to the existing schema that a dog has 2 ears, 4 legs and a tail. Assimilation refers to the process of applying the already learnt concept to a new concept. After this process of assimilation, the child is in a state of equilibrium until he looks at a cat in the same park the next day. Starts checking with the schemas developed for dog. A dog has 2 ears, 4 legs, a tail, furry and barks, and finds the first 4 schemas to be true and addresses the cat as dog. The mother beside tells the child, no, it is cat, as it meows. The child hears to the sound of a cat. Again, now the mind gets into a disequilibrium state. To resolve the confused state, the child's mind starts actively revising the learned concept and start constructing a new schema known as accommodation. Accommodation refers to a process of revising the learned concept to fit the new information received. Through accommodation, the child gets back to an equilibrium state with a schema on cat being developed. A cat has 2 ears, 4 legs, a tail, furry and meows. Eventually, the child starts to identify the other differences and could pick out the other similarities between them easily by a process called organization. Organization refers to the internal rearrangement of schemas and exploring the links and association between the schemas, and to develop a strongly interconnected cognitive system. Piaget refers organization as a higher order cognitive system. Hope the video had served you the purpose or objective of learning the process of cognitive development with means of schemas, assimilation, accommodation, equilibrium, disequilibrium, and later into the organization. The next video is going to elaborate you on the first stage of cognitive development, that is what we call it as sensory motor stage. Thank you.